Yo, kwapisa mZimbabwe, kwapisa. Yo. Guys, welcome back to the channel. Ndokutenda ichaizvo nerudo rwamuratidza channel ine. You know, you make it grow. Kungobatsirana kuti tionesana tichipanana mazano. Hopefully somebody somewhere anowana kakubatsirika. Toda kutendawo zvakare vanhu vakafanana na Pastor Chirume vanoita content yakafanana nayo yekuma Diaspora. Toda zvakare, you know, ma content creators mazhinji ari muZimbabwe ari kusubscribe kuchannel ine. Mwacho anaitwa Period. I see you young man. Thank you for the subscription. Nhasi guys, ndine personal story and ndoda kushare nemi something that happened to me when I was in England. So I want us to start by imagining this. Imagine uri kunyika, like at a foreign land. And then you realize that mazuva ekudzokera kudeni akukwana. But then suddenly, as you are trying to put your things together, you realize, I can't find my passport. Yeah, before I continue, just put the seatbelt on. I had a lot of people commenting about the seatbelt in the comment section in one of my other videos. So yeah, I better be careful, eh? So imagine this. You are in the diaspora, far away from home. And then my days ekudzokera kumba akusvika. As you are putting your stuff together, you realize something. You can't find your passport. Now that's crazy. Wombo sumudza mabhegi we wombo kanda uko. Wona chino achikubatika baba. The day randikati ndichipinda mutrain, it was so crowded with people who were holding my placards, my banners, and then they were wearing these my bands, my t-shirts, and green, white, and red. So I didn't really take it to heart, but in the train it was so full, so compacted. I mean, when you go diaspora, you know sometimes how those trains can be full. That must have been the day I lost, or at least I think I lost. Perhaps it was stolen, I don't know. So I get in the train and on my way to what? To Trafalgar Square. So as I am there, so I'm squeezing in between there. So I had this jacket on and it had shallow pockets, and I'm sure this is when I lost it. So I'm getting in the dream train takushika pa Trafalgar Square paya. I'm jumping off. As I'm jumping off, I realized a lot of these people who were also in the train, they're also jumping out. And as I'm walking, I'm realizing there must be some event that is going on. I'm not sure what it is, but all these people are actually going the direction and the foot. So you could say I was like a part of that crowd. And then as I am turning around the corner, I'm seeing the museum, the art gallery from a distance. A full-fledged protest. Ndatoona ndatopa pakati pazo. Vanhu vari kuimba. Free Palestine, free Palestine. Ndotoona ndatopa pakati pezvinhu.
All right, so I happen to be wanting to go to the National Gallery at Trafalgar Square, but I am suddenly caught in a sort of protest rally that is going on over here. Not sure what is really going on, but it's something to do with ceasefire for the Israeli war.
Dogu try to maneuver my way. I'm calling the guy. Wanandrufamba naye kuti tizokwanisa kupinda mugallery. Ndakabata line, so you have to hurry up. So I started to push my way around the protesters. And then off the other side I came. And we end up in the gallery and I saw what I wanted to see. That must have been the day I lost my passport, because I actually remember Kuti, the morning after I woke up. I'm distressed. It's so early in the morning and I can't sleep, I can't rest. The reason is I lost my passport. What to do now? I did not just lose my passport that day. I also lost one of my money cards. So the first thing that I needed to do is to make sure I block that money card. So I decided, no, you know what? I have to at least cancel the money card and report that I have my passport stolen. So I walked all the way on the high road, kwenda pa Tottenham police station.
It's still early in the morning. And I thought I would do that because one of the things that also got lost is my MasterCard. So I also need to make sure that the bank quickly moves in to stop that.
It was quite efficient. I get at the police station, the officer comes and I told him my story, and yeah, it was quite swift. They gave me a report, but the report was just so basic, you know. What did you lose? Passport, what else? The money card, yada, yada, yada. So with that letter, tomorrow I will go to the Zimbabwean Embassy and yeah, let's see what happens over there. So the first step is really just to report the case to the police. And in this case, I just got a letter and I just take that letter to the embassy. Let's see what happens tomorrow. And then lucky I was in London, and that's where also the Zimbabwe High Commission is located. So it actually meant just a small bus ride. And then we go to the embassy. I got in a bus and I went straight into London, sit in town, and then walked all the way to the embassy. As I'm getting to the embassy, I was quite early. I was the first one. But then, of course, time. And then I got in. The interesting thing about the process, apply for the emergency traveling document is ticket rako, and it also depends on the flight that they vanotara kuivo kuti mamwe flights avabvume ku munhu anofamba ne emergency document. And unfortunately for me, I was booked in Qatar Airways. Because Qatar aitambire emergency document. So it actually meant I had to go back, had to sort of fix my air ticket, and they told me that Emirates, accept an emergency document. So I had to go. It was quite expensive for me to cancel that ticket and then book via Emirates for the given day. And Zadaro, I went back to the embassy again in the morning, and I did all the necessary paperwork. I'll show you here. And then they helped me out. I went in and I got my pictures done at a booth. Yeah. Lucky also for me, I had my ID with me. It's something that they wanted to embassy. They wanted some sort of identification document. And lucky for me, I had an ID that was separate in a bag somewhere. So the process became a little bit easy for me. To be honest, the guys at the embassy were very efficient. It took me less than 2 hours to actually get my traveling document.
Yeah, so the process at the embassy was actually very smooth. You just have to go there once you're prepared. You just have to make sure your paperwork is good and that your paperwork is ready. So after submission, I'm supposed to come back in 30 minutes and then I should collect my emergency travel document. It was so smooth.
So, why I made this video is I'm hoping I can help someone that if in case you lose your documents, in case you lose your passport and you are in a foreign country, your best bet, in fact, your only bet is to go to the embassy. You have to find where the embassy is located and then go there and apply for an emergency traveling document. I believe it can cost £80. I think so. I think it cost me £80 to actually acquire the traveling document. But interestingly, the process was quite smooth. Because at that stage, you can imagine, Nachaita say, guys, what was I going to do? So, yeah, that's how I did it. And I'm sure if ever you find yourself in such a spot, it's very important, I think, also for people to when you travel to any country, to be able to have this in the back of your mind. Kuti, where is the nearest embassy? Because it will help you in future. Another thing that you must also note is that in some countries, embassy inenge isiri munyika imomo. So it's also important to think along those lines. Where I am, where is the nearest embassy? It could be in another country, just like what we have here in Zimbabwe. For example, if you want to go to, let's say, Switzerland, the Swiss embassy is not in Zimbabwe. Mangoma embassy anotaka kuwirirana zoti if you're applying like here in Zimbabwe, if you're applying for a Swiss, which is a Shanghai visa, you might want to go to the French embassy, for example. So it's some of the things that you have to do. And then I think the biggest takeaway, I think, is whenever you arrive munyika dzevanu, I think it's very, very important to realize that your passport is gold. That is your passport, your pass into that country. And missing that document means, I started valuing my passport from that very day. So I would advise for people, kuti kana, when you arrive, just put your passport somewhere where it's safe. And I also think it's not necessary to carry it around. I know my friends and colleagues in South Africa, because of fear, raids, South Africa, some of them always keep their passport on them, and it's such an inconvenience because number one, your passport is such a valuable document. It's very important for you to also keep it nice and crisp. And then, of course, the next point I want to make about sorting paperwork when you're in the diaspora is you need to have some sort of money because it will cost you. So it's good to have that in mind, that it's not something that's going to happen for free. Yes, embassy yedu Zimbabwe. Yes, they are Zimbabweans, but they are going to charge you. Guys, I want you to see something here. Let me just record this for you. So this is one of the new malls coming up here in Okay. I think they're going to call it, I think they're still calling it the same. So this is the new mall. The footbridge right over there. Highland Park it's called. Pretty nifty. Some stuff, positive stuff happening in Zim. Interesting stuff. All right, so the last thing that I just want to share about making paperwork in the diaspora is always have a second ID with you, some sort of ID, because when you lose your passport the way I did it, when you go to the embassy wants to know who you are. So if you don't have an ID of some sort, they have no way of verifying who you are. So that is also very, very important, guys, to not put the... You need to have an ID. And then I think a bonus tip that I can share with you today is that whenever you are there, try to keep your information or your sensitive documents separate. By this I'm talking about, look, lucky randikaita ndekuti ndanga ndine ID yanandinayo mu bag somewhere. And also, thank you. Lucky randine ID mu bag. Imagine if I had lost everything. It meant kuti team rekudeni kanga chazokwanisa futhi kupinda busy. Guys, load some sort of ID kubva kumba, and perhaps hakuna. So guys, I was so lucky and I'm happy. I managed to get back home safely, and then I went to do a police report and then managed to get a new passport. And wow, lucky wo ndoma e-passport atana omazwano. So that's just something that I went through, and I certainly hope that somebody else can learn from that. And then I also hope that somebody who might come across this video will get help. And I certainly hope that all of you watching will share this video, and I would really appreciate it if you like it. Share it with people that might need this information, and make a comment. Have you ever had a situation like this? Makambo zwana ere, makambo sangana nazo ere, kana makambo sangana nazo. Please ndinyoreo mu comment section your experience with losing papers and obviously fixing them afterwards. Thank you very much for watching. Until we meet again in the next video. Bye bye. All right, so I'm traveling back home now. And yeah, the story continues. I lost the passport. Now I'm going back home with the temporary paper. The process was not very difficult, actually. It was very smooth. Of course, a lot of people want to find out a little bit more what is happening. But that's all good. It's all security, right?